Orange Beach, Stop 3, taking up position. Listen to this information on Stop 3 as you are climbing back to the top of the cliff and the parking area. Commandos at Orange 1 had landed exactly where they were supposed to. As the troopers scrambled ashore and cleared the beach, the LCAs withdrew to find MGB 312 about a mile offshore. The LCAs were now used to transport additional stores to the beach. Most importantly were additional mortar ammunition. Along with additional supplies came a beach party to organize the flow of supplies inland. Major Mills Roberts directed C Troop leader Lieutenant Stiles to check the 2 possible exits leading off of the beach. As you return to the path, you will note another small ravine to the left. When the Commandos landed, they were not sure of which of these draws would provide the easiest access to the cliffs above. Lieutenant Stiles returned and reported that the left draw was completely blocked. Though blocked by barbed wire, the right-hand draw looked like there was a possibility to get by the wire. The Commandos used 2 Bangalore torpedoes to blow a hole through the wire. Fortunately for the troopers, the RAF were strafing the battery at the prearranged time so that the explosions were not detected by the German troops above them. The men proceeded up the gully, making sure to stay to the side in case the Germans had mined the trail. At the top of the trail, Lieutenant Stile cleared the houses on the right of the road, while Captain Dawson took the buildings on the left. So far, the Commandos had gone undetected by the German garrison. It seemed a miracle to the men involved that they had not aroused any attention from the Germans. It was discovered later that there was a German machine gun pit at the top of the valley overlooking the beach, but this night it was unoccupied. However, the Commandos did not entirely go unnoticed. Local French civilians interacted with the troopers several times. The best advice Commandos gave to the French villagers was to stay hidden and stay out of the way if they didn't want to get hurt in the firefight that was inevitable. It is here at the top of the hill that the various troops and subunits moved to their designated objectives. Major Mills Roberts, with Lieutenant Ennis, who was in charge of the heavy weapons section, had moved fast with the mortars through the woods in the general direction of the road you came down to get to the parking area. The objective was the cover of a thick woods and the forward edge within a few hundred yards of the battery wire. Stealthily and almost soundlessly, the party moved forward through the woods with the 2-inch mortar and 3-inch mortar. C Troop had already set up and was unnoticed by the German defenders. At 5:30, the mortar section, with the subsection under command of Lieutenant Stile, had gained the boundary of the woods, and were able to work their way so close to the battery that they could clearly hear the commands to the gunners. Major Mills Roberts held his fire. A belt of scrubland lay between the woodlands and the wire of the battery defenses. It was far from thick, and nowhere on that piece of land could a man hope for cover from fire. But there was cover from view, and worming their way foot by foot, Lieutenant Stiles' men crawled forward. Lance Corporal Mann, a crack shot, reached a clump of bushes from which he could pick off the enemy. Gunner MacDonald had managed with great patience to drag his heavy anti-tank rifle into a good position, while one of the mortar sections had crawled to a small clump of bushes in which he had contrived to make himself practically invisible. Meanwhile, after the initial landings, the Commandos on Orange 2, commanded by Lovett, and the men of B and F section proceeded along the Soon River Valley. The highly trained men marched on the run in close formation, followed Lovett at the double along the east bank of the river valley, while their landing craft withdrew safely out to sea. But for the casualties suffered, Keeperville Beach was deserted. Group 2 had taken just 35 minutes to fight their way through the wire obstacles and run the 1,600 meters through long grass and saturated ground to the second bend in the meandering River Soon, which marked the point where they would swing east. At 5:15 a.m., they started to move uphill along a shallow reentrant. By achieving tactical surprise and by sheer speed of the assault, No. 4 had carried the beach and moved on in just a matter of minutes. Lovett kept the men on the trot. The intent was to circle around the gun battery and attack from the rear, bearing left to gain the cover of Blanchard-le-Bas woods. At this point, the enemy had lost track of the Commandos completely. The British could hear the sounds of battle as they left the river valley and moved through the wooded area. It was in this woods with the northern edge facing the rear of the battery that Lovett had planned to reconnoiter the battery. and make the assault upon the guns. Lovett divided his force into 2 troops, while fighting patrols went forward with Bangalore torpedoes to crawl to the enemy wire and prepare to breach the first line of the outer defenses. The plan was simple. The 2 groups would charge the battery from 2 points simultaneously and carry the defenses at all cost. You can decide at this point whether you are interested in walking the tour or use your car to access the various stops. Proceed to Stop 4 by your chosen form of transportation. You can begin to listen to Stop 4 on your way to the lighthouse.